He got on a rubber boat, Mediterranean Sea. Along. In Italy, a refugee camp for 1 whole year. While he was in that refugee camp, he told his wife in Nigeria to also, proceed on that same journey. That one got to Tripoli, the capital of Libya. But unfortunately, she also got on a rubber boat, but she couldn't make it to the port of Sicily. She died. Yes, this is my brother. So after the expiration of the 1 year compulsory refugee camp, he got out and they were integrated into the Italian society. But just 6 months into their stay in Italy, there was a massive protest. The Italians protested that migrants were coming in from Africa, and these guys need to just go back to their country. Do you understand? And so they gave them an option. One, you go to your country voluntarily and you get paid. Maybe 2,000 euros, 3,000 euros, you go to your country. Or you are arrested and you wake up Muritala Mohammed Airport. So my brother, having sacrificed his wife, thought, no, I am not going back. He stayed. And one day, they arrest him. And all along, he claimed to be a Togolese for obvious reasons, He claimed to be a Togolese, and so they brought Togolese diplomats to come and identify their citizen. They engaged my brother in Togolese language. Baba no Baba no understand. This one that is lying must be a Nigerian. Now so they bring a Nigerian diplomat. Fortunately, the guy, Yoruba, the guy said, Aburo. Now so my brother fall for that one. He said, Egbon, which means elder brother, please help your boy. That one advised him to please take the wise choice of going back to Nigeria so he can get paid. But unfortunately, he was adamant, and so he woke up at Muritala Mohammed Airport. That is the cycle. A lot of Nigerians try to get out of the country for obvious reasons. But as we saw in that video, we all cannot run away. We have to take responsibility. We have only one country, just one, and that is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it all starts with citizen active participation in the electoral process. Some of us say we don't like politics. Some of us say our government is corrupt. Some of us say there is unemployment. There is this, there is that. Yes. What are we going to do about it? We fold our arms and watch? No. To lie down resigned to fate is madness. We have to stand up. We are young people. We have all the energy. We don't complain about staying on queue for how many hours? If we are to get our BVN or we are to withdraw money from ATM, you know how long we wait in the rain and in the sun. Why can't we pay this sacrifice for our own country? And Solomon asks a question that those that have been voting, what effect does that have? Yes. It's not just about voting. It's not just about getting your PVC. It's about getting involved. Getting really, really involved. There are a lot of avenues to leverage right now. We have the not too young to run on everything. We have to take charge. We have to be what? Involved. Say involved. Be involved. You are not talking. Be involved. Be involved. Yes. We know the problems. We can identify all the problems. And putting ourselves out there would help us to solve these problems better. Isn't it? So let's just stop the talk and take responsibility. And I hope that we would make use of this opportunity, get our PVCs. If you can't get it today, get it on register on your phone and pick up your PVC at the nearest INEC office. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dada, for that wonderful charge. Be involved, stop the talk, and do the work. That's what I got out of it.
Yep.
I think we're coming up with like a lot of hashtags. She says, face what's facing you. And then be involved, hashtag be involved, hashtag face what's facing you, hashtag stop the talk and do the work.
And do the work.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
We have some more guests that would like to acknowledge and recognize. Thank you so much for sticking with us this far. It's going well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah?
What do you guys think? Is it going on? Are you enjoying yourselves?
Are you learning anything yet? It's about to get more intense. All right, we would like to recognize, Mr. Chidi Unwakbele of Nigerian Brewery.
Mr.
Hi,
Chidi,
Mr. Chidi.
please give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
I would like to recognize Miss Makia Suleiman from Jobaman.
Hi, Makia.
Hi, Makia.
Hi. We also like to recognize, I don't know if this is the Miss or Mr. Fejiro Ubueme. Oh, hi, Miss. Oh, you're so fine. Okay.
Miss Fejiro Ubeme is from Jobaman. We also would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Ibrahim Abdullah from Jobaman also. Mr. Ibrahim. Oh, Mr. Ibrahim is over here. Can we please give him a round of applause?
We'd like to recognize Mr. Sheung Fiki from Nigerian Breweries. Did I get, Miss. Hello, I'm so sorry. So good to see you.
Thank you very much. And lastly, we would like to recognize the presence of Mr. John Danladi from Nigerian Breweries.
Hi, Mr. John.
Hi, Mr. John.
Thank you so very much. All right, on to the next. We'd like to call one of our fellows, so it's something I think we like to say among ourselves, Bushra Balogun Temitope, to introduce our panel session. Please, a round of applause for Bushra. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping till she gets here. Awesome, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the event so far. My name is Bushra Balogun. I'm a fellow, and I'd like to welcome you up once again to the event. Thank you so much for joining us. Quickly, we'd like to move into the panel session. Before I start, I'd like to lay a background. Recently, in a speech by the Nigerian President, Muhammadu Buhari, he averred in an interview that the public service workspace is so overwhelmed and filled and can't guarantee the provision of jobs for thousands of graduates at universities churn out every year. This brings to the fore the need for young people to be proactive and innovative in upskilling themselves or explore new means to be able to match up with expanding technological advancements and exploits globally. More so, information and communication technology has drastically transformed the way work is done. It has created varieties of work opportunities that can be maximized to get more young people benefits from opportunities both locally and internationally. The emergence of COVID-19, as we all know, has come to reshape the way we work. The lockdown necessitated some change in our work style, making us adapt to the work from home policy. This has normalized remote work, which also presents many opportunities for young people to get offers that can empower them and also enable them contribute to the economy. Lastly, digitalization and globalization have sparked radical shifts in how we live and work. It possesses the question, how is the average person supposed to navigate in this new world? To answer those questions and also discuss other issues around technology and also opportunities for young people, I'll be bringing on board a group of dynamic young persons, brilliant young minds that have expertise in this space, and I'll be sharing from their wealth of knowledge on the opportunities young people can benefit, and also what they are doing in their own capacity to also foster some of these topics we're talking about. First off, I'd like to bring on board the moderator of this panel session, in person of Sharon Takim, a beautiful fellow. You're welcome, Sharon. Please have a seat. Thank you. Next, I have Sanusi Ismaila, founder, Collab Kaduna. You're welcome, Sanusi. Ismaila founded Collab to create an environment that allows one's curiosity to foster learning and inspire creativity and innovation. Thank you, Ismaila, for coming. Next, I have Abdul Samad Gobil, President, Toastmasters Kaduna Branch. You're welcome. Abdul Samad is the president of Toastmasters Kaduna Branch, a non-profit educational organization. He's a certified engineer and project manager at Ali Queen Aviation with over 7 years of experience in IT and construction. Thank you for joining us. Next, I have Makia Suleiman. She works with Joberman. Thank you, Makia. Thank you so much for coming. You're so beautiful. So Makia is the Northern Youth Engagement Coordinator for the Young Africa Work Project and has 8 years working experience in the civic space. She leads the learning and development process in the North involved in upskilling youth, conciliates with key stakeholders and administrative management for stellar delivery of knowledge. You're welcome, Makia. Next, I have Chidi Unwakpele from Nigeria Bureaus. You're welcome, Chidi. Chidi is a human resource professional and currently the HR business partner for Nigerian Bureaus. He has over 6 years of experience spanning through recruitment and employment engagement. When he's not working, he's spending his time reading, playing video games, and playing football. I should challenge you, Chidi. Thank you for coming. Next, I have Mujahid Usman from Outsource Global Technologies Limited. You're welcome. Mujahid is a business development manager at Outsource Global Technologies Limited, a leading business process outsourcing company servicing several international markets. He has an undergraduate degree in international business and management and a master's degree in management consulting from the University of Bradford and Leeds, respectively. He previously worked at Verod Capital's management as an investment analyst. He also worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC as an advisory consultant. Thank you for joining us, Mujahid. Okay, yeah, now I'll pass the baton to Sharon to take us through this panel session. Please pay attention and enjoy and make the most of it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. We are glad to have you. Thank you to our panelists for honoring our invitation. So we'll jump right into the questions and answers. So I'll just take it this way, and then we'll come back. So we would like to know, Sanusi, the saying goes, technology is the new oil. How can young people leverage technology to become more creative, productive, and innovative? And what does Collab as an organization do to achieve this that we can learn from?
Okay, you can hear me. Thank you very much. That's a really interesting question. And I want to start by saying that technology is not the new oil, right? And there's no new oil. What is key is talent and skill, right? And if you look, and just to buttress my point, if you look at the richest countries in the world, or the most developed countries in the world, they are not oil-based economies, right? If you look at per capita income, it's never been about resources. It's always about talent and knowledge, right? Again, to give you an example from the other side, Congo probably is the most blessed country when it comes to resources. They account for a lot of the minerals that are used in electronics today. 70% of the cobalt in the world is mined from Congo, but they're also one of the poorest countries in the world. Meanwhile, companies in US, for instance, like Apple, who don't have any cobalt, are using their knowledge to build things like the Android phones and the iPhones that you're using and selling that at a premium. Meanwhile, in Congo, the people that are mining aren't very far away from the almajiri that we have here. So the point being that it's knowledge. So how do you then, and technology, think about technology as a culture. Technology is not an industry. I don't think about it that way. It's a method of continuously improving something, right? Documenting what you're doing and continuously improving. The mortar and pestle that we use in the village is technology. What has happened is we've stopped trying to improve that, right? So when you think about those two things in that context, then the way to use technology to sort of get ahead is to take advantage of the amount of knowledge that is at your disposal, take advantage of the platforms that are now there to better yourself and expand your knowledge base such that even as the world changes, you're able to adapt.
Thank you so much. There is no new oil. Talent is the key. So let's move to Abdul Samad. Confidence and self-esteem seem to be factors that many young people struggle with as they grow in their careers. So what tips and tricks do you have that can help us build these traits as we in our career journeys?
Thank you very much for that question. Self-esteem and confidence. Self-esteem and confidence is something that people struggle with generally in the world, not just people developing in their careers. And it's something that is very common that you struggle with. I personally struggled with it when I was growing up, basically notably in 2-3 instances. Firstly was when you do your project. I did my project and my master's degree as well. To defend it was a difficult thing because I didn't have that confidence to pull it off, even though I put all the hard work in. And the second instance is I've been somebody who passed most of the job criterias, except for the interview stage. So I was wondering what's going on, and I almost gave in, like it's not something I can change. But luckily, I got a mentor who told me, a baby that is trying to walk, it keeps falling, but it stands up again and try again. So basically, I was lucky enough to read a book by Dale Carnegie, which I'll advise everybody to take these 4 steps to help you in building your self-confidence and self-esteem. So I abbreviate it as SPAP. So S for start with a strong conscience that what you want to change, basically you want to be better. That way you have to look at it, what can I gain from being self-confident, having better self-esteem? How will it be good for my career, my personal life? Then P for prepare. Without knowledge, really, you can't be confident. What are you going to say? So you have to prepare in your area of expertise. You have to really read, learn things. Then thirdly is act confident. Even though you're not confident, you need to act it like you are confident. And a saying by one of the psychologists, William James, said that when you keep acting confident, at some point, courage will replace fear, basically. Then the last one is practice. So you want to go for an interview, practice. In the mirror, try with a friend. Let him ask you the questions. Give it a go. Build that experience before you go out to the actual interview. So I end my words by giving you another quote by Godse von Loom. It's a very literary giant. You can Google him. He says, by the time you make that commitment, the whole world will conspire to help you. So please take that commitment, take the chance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a strong reason, prepare, act confident, and practice. Thank you so much, Abdul Samad. Makia. Hi, Makia. So I want to know, soft and technical skills go hand in hand in building professional capacity. So what are the skills you think are needed to thrive in a work environment? And what is Jobaman doing to help young Nigerians develop those skills?
Thank you very much, Sharon, for that wonderful question. It is important to actually know what is soft skills and what is hard skills. So some people, when they say soft skill, they're imagining something very soft. No, that's not it. When we say soft skills, a layman's definition, these are skills that help you interact with other people, with your friend, how you communicate with your friend, how you have empathy for one another. While on the other hand, hard skills are the technical skills, your certificates at the end of your 4 or 5-year course. So let me use this analogy, perhaps people will understand better. Let's say Amina graduated top of her class, first class, French. After her service year, she got a job with maybe the US Embassy. She was fired 2 weeks after. How is that possible? Amina is the valedictorian of her class. So how? Why? Amina shouted rudely. She relates to customers. She's a customer experience manager or intern or something. That's the entry level. She was sacked 2 weeks. How is that even possible? Amina graduated top of her class. Why? Amina doesn't have soft skill. She doesn't know how to communicate. She doesn't have empathy. A customer, a client comes to win his problem. Amina doesn't sympathize. Amina doesn't put herself in his shoes. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're experiencing this problem. Oh my goodness. Kindly call me back. In the next 2 hours, I will check. You call Amina. Is it only you that have this problem? Is it? Is it? I did not eat since yesterday morning. What are you telling me? Yes. Of course, they will sack Amina. Definitely. But then, on the other hand, Amina's friend, Musa, graduated with 2-2. Maybe when he was in level 3, he realized, oh, I am not going to be a first class, not even 2-1. What do I need to do to make myself relevant? He took some courses. He attended conferences, trainings. He developed himself. After his service year, he knew how to write a good CV. He took our Jobberman soft skill training. He knows how to write a CV. He was certified. When it was time for interview, he practiced. It was a virtual interview, perhaps. It was not that time that he would be like, they send him the invite, that's when he would start downloading the application. No, because he took Jobberman soft skill training, he knows some of the preparatory steps for interview. Is if it's a digital interview, you download the app, you practice with a friend. So he did that. He searched for questions, similar questions. He practiced with friends, with family. He knew how to get a good internet connection, a nice background, dress accordingly. He practiced. He was able to scale through. He can interact. He knows the right answer. When they asked him at the end of the training, the interview, do you have a question? He didn't say, no, I am here to answer all your questions. I've already done that, so I should be good. No. He said, yes, confidently. I have a question. What does a typical day look like at your company? What is my pay salary? That is him being confident. That is him having soft skills. So it is important to note that, yes, soft skills, while hard skills are important, soft skills play a vital role. Researchers have found that 15% success is only determined by your hard skills, while 85% of your success, 85%, had to do with your soft skills. So please, definitely take our soft skill training. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nakia. I'm sure the people in the audience will be glad to know that we will be having a soft skills training right after here. We're going to have a breakout session. So thank you to Jobberman for putting that together. Can we give them a round of applause? Chidi, down to you. In your years of experience as an HR personnel, What are some of the mistakes young people make during job interviews? Makia mentioned one just now about the background and the dressing. So would like you to elaborate a bit more on that. What are some of the mistakes young people make that hinder them from getting jobs? And what are some tips and tricks that can help them ace interviews?
She actually stole one of my ideas, but it's fine. Okay, so I think one thing that most young people don't do is to do extensive research, or either for the company that they're going to interview for, or for the job role that they are applying for. I will give an example. Sometime in 2018, I had the opportunity to interview some students who were coming to my company to do their industrial attachment, or what we call IT. So I was just engaging them, and then I just asked them, okay, tell me 5 things outside of sports and entertainment that is happening around the country. And to my utmost surprise, not one of them could tell me at least 3. And I'm looking at myself and I'm like, okay, if these people don't understand what's going on around them, would they have the ability to actually, sit down, do some research for a company that they're going to interview for after graduation? So that was a scary thought for me. And what I would encourage people to do, especially young people who are going into organizations, is try to do your research about the company. What does the company do? Who are its competitors? What was the profit margin for the year, or for the year review? All those things will help you get an understanding of what the company does. And by extension, you need to do some research on the job role. You might not have the job description, but it doesn't mean that that particular job role is not in another company. So do your homework, do the necessary research that you need to do, and once you get to the interview session, the hiring managers will see that, yes, this person has actually done his or her research. I was also privileged to be part of an interview panel sometime this year. And the funny thing was that it was an internal recruitment, so it wasn't that we were trying to get people from outside. And this person told us what the job role was. He told us in infinite details what the job role was, and we were actually impressed because from what he was saying, we knew that he had actually taken time to do his homework in terms of knowing what the job entailed for that. Research for the company, also research for, also do your research on the role that you're applying for. It is very, very important, because if you don't know what it is that you're coming for, then you would not ace that interview. Another point, and this is my last point, is do not lie. When you are in front of the interview panel, do not make up stories. Do not lie. Now, if you don't know the answer to the question, be humble enough in your spirit and in your mind to say, I don't know. Once you start beating around the bush or trying to answer the question based on what you think you know, people who are interviewing you would see that and they will mark that against you. So please, 1, do your necessary research, and 2, when you're in front of the panel, I know it's scary because you are alone and you are looking at maybe 3, 4 people in front of you, and it looks like a firing squad. It's not. They're just trying to ask questions, to pick your brain, to know what you have in your head, and also to test your experience. So please, do not lie. Be humble enough to say, oh, I don't know the answer to this question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chidi. So please do not lie. Don't beat around the bush. If you don't know what the website of NSCDC is, say, I don't know. So let's move on to Mujahid. So the world is globalizing rapidly, and with this comes opportunities for young people to get decent jobs across the globe. What skills should we focus on developing to position ourselves to maximize these opportunities?
Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me here, and thank you for organizing this very important event. The good thing about going last is that I've gotten enough expo from all the speakers to reinforce all my points. So basically, the world now, as it is, is one big marketplace, as you know, right? It's getting smaller and smaller, more connected, and basically, a lot of things are being connected in that regard. So let me speak to you on Outsource Global, basically. The company I work for. We're a business process outsourcing company. We've been in existence for about 5 years. And basically, we started off as like a contact center. Our first few clients were some US clients that just took a chance on us and gave us some jobs. And basically, right now, we've grown to about 1,000 employees within the space of 5 years. So thank you. What does this say to you? We have the skills. Like our first speaker mentioned, is like, we should really shift our focus to, I know we do have a lot of products in this country and resources, but our people are really our gold mine. Like, Nigeria graduates about 600,000 graduates every year, correct me if I'm wrong. And basically, that focus should be shifted, basically, and we have a lot of skills in here. So back to your question, like, what are those skills that I believe that are very important? So I wrote this down. I wanted to make sure that I get some things passed across. Like she mentioned, there are hard and soft skills, right? But from us, like from all the jobs that we've been outsourcing, the key thing is communication, right? And it's not just a one-way thing. You have to be able to listen to people, understand where they're coming from, and be able to communicate yourself properly. Always asking for feedback, and this is one skill that is very key, that at the start in the interview process, the interviewer would already pick up on that. Then the second thing, you need to have a positive attitude. Yeah, we know things are hard, yes? I'm sure some of you have a lot of people that are working remotely for international companies. They know somebody that might be working remotely. Those people didn't get that job just once. They applied I know someone that's applied for over 200 jobs. Probably the last one that he did get, he was just basically just callous about it. He didn't really do so much on the cover letter. He just said, "Bam, I beg. If they take me, they don't." So you need to have a positive attitude. Next one is teamwork. Like, you need to work with people very effectively. Like, as they say, like, you're not an island, and you need people around you, and you need to be able to always look at the objective that the company is trying to achieve, not only yours. Like, so that would actually gear you towards actually working as a team and making sure that it's not only your concerns that are here, and you're actually working for a company, and the objective of the company comes before anything. Then time management, of course. Like, they could give you a lot of tasks. Like, you could know how to do it, right? But you seriously need to organize yourself in such a manner that you're always delivering on expectations, right? They've employed you, yes, because they know you can do it. But how effective are you at it? So even if they've given you some tasks that you're not able to do at once, you can actually communicate at the onset to say that I need this required time to do this, just to manage expectations, so that nobody comes crying at the end. The last one is like willingness, actually third to the last, willingness, willingness to learn. Yes, so you need to be very willing to actually take in as much information as you can and learn from others around you. I can give you an example about two people in my organization. One person, she started off as just a customer service rep, and gradually, like, she is now in the executive management as an operations manager, managing over 500 people. This is in the space of 5 years. Like, so she actually, I asked her, like, how did you do this? Because she's been there longer than me. So what she said was that I just allowed myself to learn, and I dropped my guard from the first day. I didn't have any, like, no big head, as they say, acting like I know everything. And she was actually willing to learn. She's a people person. And gradually, like, the organization started having more confidence in her to give her that kind of position. So the next one is, like, problem solving. A lot of times they employ you to fix a certain problem or to key into something within the organization. You actually have to go out of your way sometimes. It's not always going to be told to you. You have to be very proactive. You have to try and connect the dots all the time. So not waiting for somebody to always guide you and tell you what to do, rather like being proactive and actually coming up with new initiatives and new ideas. So the last one is that, of course, like, depending on the job, you need, like, analytical skills. So you need to be able to analyze a lot of data and deduct a lot of things. So these are the skills that I believe that at the onset, especially for jobs being outsourced to the country, these are some key skills that can propel you into a good position.
Thank you so much to our panelists. So we're moving into the second and final round of questions. Our panelists have taken time out to be here with us today, so we don't want to keep them for longer than necessary. So I just want to build, Sanusi, on the question on globalization. Some people have fears about job security now that someone across the world can do what you're doing from the comfort of their homes. So do you think there are timeless skills? And if there are, what are the skills you feel people need to have to be continuously relevant as the world is changing?
Okay. Yeah, really interesting question. I want to start by saying, before I answer that question, that the world isn't changing, it has changed. If you think it's changing, then, you know, you're on a long thing. It has changed already. You know, I was reading a paper and it said, as at today, 5 out of 10 people that graduate in the US, which we look at as an advanced economy, end up doing jobs they didn't study for, right? And if I'm not mistaken, 7 out of 10 children in high school today, again in the US, are studying for jobs that do not even exist now, right? They're going to end up working in jobs that don't exist. And those jobs that there are, a lot of the things that we do now, product management, you know, blockchain engineers, they didn't exist, like, you know, a couple of years ago. So with that in mind, right, how do you then learn to be relevant? And you know, some of the panelists already touched on this. Soft skills is super important, that's one. But also acquiring a lot of knowledge and being flexible is super important. You can't wake up and say, you know, I'm a doctor today, you know, so I'm going to be a doctor forever. That's not to say that, you know, what you're passionate about isn't useful, but it's to say that you have to be able to expand the base of your knowledge and constantly evolve. One of the reasons why we have careers as we do today and we have school as we do today is because before it got organized, the way to learn was to go to, as an apprentice, to, you know, a professional and go and stay for 6, 7, 8 years to learn, and then, you know, you become a doctor, you become something. Today, all the knowledge, and I'm not telling you to do this, but all the knowledge that you require to become a doctor is on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that if you check, you'd see someone do an open heart surgery on YouTube. So what that means, again, I'm not saying you should go and do an open heart surgery from YouTube. But what it means, or what it tells me, or, you know, what it actually is that information is now so available that the usual siloed structures that we used to apply no longer apply. And what that also means is that if the information is available, you no longer have an excuse to just be an expert in one thing. You need to know anything. You need to know everything, or as much about everything as you can. Some of the she talked about soft skills and she talked about communication, but one of the things that gets you into the door in so many places is being able to hold a conversation about anything. You're standing with some guys talking about football, you're able to talk to them, and they're like, oh, so what do you do? Or you're talking to some nuclear physicists and you're talking about nuclear fusion, and you're still able to follow. You have to be able to do that, and that comes from being able to absorb a lot of information. The critical skill, the most important skill for the future is just being able to relearn continuously. Learning isn't something that you go to school and you finish and you stop. You know, it surprised a lot of people here, but I'm a trained microbiologist. I actually did my internship in Nigerian brewery, so I was super interested. And when I was leaving there, they wanted to retain me. This was many years ago. But I finished NYC, and 3 months after I finished NYC, I was working in MTN, not as a microbiologist. And I've worked in technology since. Again, I'm telling you that story to say that while all the things you learned in school are relevant and they will help you, you need to get to the point where you can do anything. And the last thing I want to leave you with is a thought that would help me buttress this point. Early on before we came on, somebody was talking about Japan, right? When I talk to young people, usually I ask them this question: if I was able to take you today, as you are today, and drop you in any city of your choice in the world, right now, what sort of job would you have to do to survive? Thank you.
That's a stellar moment. Soft skills, flexibility, knowledge, the ability to unlearn and relearn. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanusi. So back to you, Mr. Abdul-Samad. So public speaking is a key component for emerging leaders. As a core of its mandate, how does Toastmasters help young people achieve good oratory skills, and how can people here be a part of what you're doing in Kaduna State?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. How can Toastmasters help young people achieve oratory skills? So Toastmasters is a non-profit organization that has existed for over 105 years. They are in over 154 countries, and their focus is mainly public speaking, communication, and leadership. So they help you grow in those 3 key areas. So how can it help you as a young person growing up? If I'm to put it in a nutshell, I'll use the words of John Maxwell. Toastmasters experience is not the best teacher, basically. Evaluated experience is. That is what Toastmasters basically is in a nutshell. So what you come to do is you get the opportunity to speak in every meeting. You have a prepared speech or a table topics. So for prepared speech, you have time to prepare for the speech. You come onto the lantern and you give a 5 to 7 minute speech in a topic, and you get an evaluation from a more experienced speaker. That's how that works. Then for an impromptu speech, it teaches you on how to think on your feet. Listen, organizing your thoughts, in a short moment. So basically, that's what the impromptu part of it is. You get to talk about random topics that you don't know about. Just come, and they give you the question, and you talk about that. So basically, the organization has a very unique structure, such that no matter what career path you are, there's something for you. Public speaking, leadership, and communication is general for whatever you are doing already. So aside that, they now tailor it to what you are doing. I'll give you an example. So for people in politics, example, there's a pathway called leadership, dynamic leadership. So you get to learn something like, some people think, oh, I should be one style of leadership. That's not so. You can be all types depending on the situation. So for people that just come into a job place, they're just starting, you're supposed to be authoritative with them. Tell them what to do, I need you to do this, that. If you're working with experienced people, you need to communicate differently. Seek their opinion. You are more democratic about what you are going to do. So basically, Toastmasters is that place where you gain that experience, really. Experience is hard to get. These days, somebody said they are looking for 30 years experience. You gain that experience over time, and you're able to use it in your professional and daily lives. So that is what you can get from Toastmasters. Thank you.
So how can people connect with Toastmasters in Kaduna?
Yes, we will have a setup at the back. You can come and we tell you how to join Toastmasters. And as well, you can just use your phone to search for toastmasters.com. All the details are there for you to use. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Samad. So, Makia, tell us a little bit about some of the programs that are available. We know that the session here today is pretty brief. So what other opportunities can the people in the room sign up for as regards developing soft skills?
Just putting it out there, I'm also a Toastmaster in Ghana. Yes. And thank you, Global Outsource, for mentioning some of the top 10 soft skills. Mr. Sunusi, one of our components of personal effectiveness, the learning agility. You learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. You can't say, okay, I know this definition for the last 10 years. That's what my grandfather has been using. A new definition has come up. I am not going to use it. No. You unlearn. You relearn. So, Jobberman is Nigeria's #1 recruitment platform. What does that translate to? If you're looking for a job, I'm sure there are NYSC here. So if you're looking for a job, you sign up on our platform. Just like you create a social media account, you fill in all the necessary details. There are job listings. We have over 40,000 companies, partners, that list their roles on our platform. You have unlimited access to all those 40,000. We have 2 million job seekers on our platform. So what does Jobberman do? We connect talents to companies. Okay, we are looking for a graphic designer. We have a graphic designer on our website. What do? We connect them. We are the middle person, the bridge. For this project, the Young African Work, that we are partners on, we've trained over 250,000 youths between the age of 18 to 35 across Kaduna, Kano, and Lagos, with a 70% focus on women. Yes. So this project is for you, women. It's for me, it's for you, my sister, yes. So among the other things that you're going to learn aside the soft skill training is we are giving you free access, democratized access to job. You don't need to know everyone. You have the talent, fine, we'll connect you. Can you defend it at an interview? We'll make that possible. That is what we do at Jobberman. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Makia. So Chidi, we know Nigerian Breweries has some human development initiatives, the Young African Talent and Graduate Management Development Scheme. And we know that they provide opportunities to help develop the skills and capacities of young people and also job opportunities. So tell us a little bit about them and how we can benefit from them.
Oh, okay. So I'll start off with the Graduate Management Development Scheme. So it's an approach by the company to recruit fresh talent from indigenous schools here in Nigeria. So we do it yearly or bi-yearly, and recently we recruited some people via that scheme this year. We engaged them in August this year. 22 of them. They're management trainees either for our supply chain function or other departments within the business. Like I said, we recruited 22 of them, of which 8 of them are female. Okay. Okay, of which 8 of them are female. So it on a sometimes on a yearly basis, sometimes on a by annual basis, depending on our need at that point in time. The YAT, what we call YAT, is quite similar to the Graduate Management Development Scheme, but the target market is different. The target is for people who have jackpot for educational purposes, but want to come back home to come and work. So that's basically the difference. But the mode of entry, the trainings, before you are now either posted to a bureau to work as a shift manager brewing or packaging or even engineering or any other support department, be it logistics, marketing. So it's still the same process, it's still the same training. And once you get in, you have, like, especially for the supply chain guys, you have like a 1 year, 1.5 years of training where we have a training school in Ibadan where you are taught practical skills on how to brew, packaging, and then within that period, you are posted to various breweries to work on short-term basis. And then there's a report, and based on your performance, there's a report, and then, by the end of the training, you are now posted to a brewery permanently or for a period of time to work. So the difference basically is just the target audience. For the GMDS is targeted at young graduates who graduated from indigenous universities here, while the young African talents are for people who are in abroad but want to come back home to come and work.
Can we get more information about the...
We have a stand at the back, so interested people can always come there, and then they'll get more information on these two programs.
So sometime during the program, the stands at the back will be open, so you can meet with the amazing people here, ask questions, and get the information that you need. So our final question from you, Mr. Mujahid. So what are some things young people can do to build a competitive advantage for them in their various fields of endeavor? You mentioned quite a list before. So what would you say are the non-negotiable skills among those ones that you feel are necessary to have a competitive advantage?
Okay. I think there are two sides to this question. First is the skills bit. I'll touch upon that. But I feel like you need to have some kind of values that you have within, like, for instance, in my company, we have, sorry, I'm making reference to my company a lot, it's the salesman in me. But basically, we have 4 values: have integrity, insist on the higher standard, constantly improve, and make an impact. Basically, and these core values govern everything that we do. So, like, my point is, like, you need to have those good values, instill good values within you, to be able to put yourself in that good. That's one step of having, like, good, always being honest, as one, being hardworking, one of them. You name it, there's a lot of it. Then the other bit is now, like, somebody mentioned about the 30-year experience. I thought that was a good point, but now, like, there's so much resources out there for you to be able to equip yourself in that regard and just cut out those years. Like, so there's something someone always tells me is like, invest in yourself now, somebody will invest in you later. So, like, I know some of these trainings might be expensive or something, but is you taking a chance and actually gearing yourself up to where you want to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our amazing panelists. So now we would like to open up the floor for questions from the audience. In the interest of time, we might not be able to do more than 5 questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. The microphone will get to you, and you can ask your question. So please direct your question at which panelist you want to answer the question.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm a student from Kaduna State University, and there is one challenge you'll be facing, which is understanding concepts. Okay. Understanding concepts and about individual development. And this sustainability, based on my own understanding, is trying to talk about how to connect the present and the future. Making effective use of the present without affecting what is going to happen in the future. A training like this will come up again. And like, when you identify a problem, after solving that problem, another problem comes up. But trying to identify a single problem, providing solution for that same problem concurrently every time, it means there's no sustainability. Because even in the nearest future, we are going to solve the same problem which answers have been provided for in the past years. So the question is, Jobberman, to be specific, you said you have over 4,000 people you've trained.
250,000 youths between the age of 18 to 35 across Kaduna, Kano, and Lagos.
Wow, that is a very high number.
It is.
So, I attended one of the programs,
Awesome.
a training at Kaduna State University.
Okay.
And it was lovely and wonderful, soft skill. But my question is, after you left, the training you gave died. Yes, the reason is because the students there, the one you impacted on, they were busy with the school activities. And there was no provision for them to impact others. And the first man there, I forgot his name, said, there needs to be this like relearning. Yeah, that's the question. So what are your plans? Like, how can we sustainably develop this skill in a way that you gain to impact another person?
So if I get you right, sorry, I didn't catch your name. If I get you right, are you talking about what is next after our training? Is that it? Okay, so we have two components to our program for this project. We have the training component and then the placement component. We are providing placement opportunities for these soft skillers. We call them our soft skillers. You are certified. That's why we call it an introduction to soft skill, because you can't learn soft skill in a day or in 1 year. They are forever evolving. So we give you an introduction to soft skill. Okay, now that you've gotten a hand of what it means, we just teach you 5 soft skills, yeah? 5 modules. You've understood the importance of soft skills, and we've picked your interest now. You want to go further. What are other soft skills? That's why at the end of each training, we advise that you join our platform, you open an account on our platform. That is the only way that you get access to placement opportunity. That is what is next. We provide that placement opportunity for youths across the country and also for our soft skills. So that is what is next. So if you don't have an account on the Jobberman platform, please do so. It's at, I know how to say it, www.jobberman.com. Yeah, Fedro? Awesome. Thank you.
And just to add, the learning is up to them, relearning is up to you. They can't come and keep feeding you. You have to do the work yourself as well. So.
Yes, good morning, everybody. The panelists, Mr. Chika, you mentioned what Nigerian Breweries is doing for Africans in yonder and the ones around here. My question is directed to the person in navy blue shirt. Exactly, sir. I observe that Nigerians or Nigerian youths are not short of knowledge, skill, or talent. What we are really short of is opportunities. That is why people want to japa. And that is why people around here or in Nigeria are not even happy to. Opportunity is the problem of Nigerian youths. How are we going to solve this the more?
Thank you for that question. You know, when I answered the last question, I ended it with a question saying, if you were taken to the city of your choice, what sort of things would you do? I disagree with you that opportunity is the problem. That's not to say that opportunity is not a problem, but I think that, and you know, thank God there's someone in HR here. I think that the bigger problem, you know, is within the jobs that are available, there are not enough skilled hands to do it. If you can write code now, come meet me after this, I'll give you a job. But what's happening is the world is changing, but the skills here are not evolving to meet those demands. You know, my friend talked about, outsourcing, right? People in US are looking for people to the point where they're hiring people directly from Nigeria. At CoLab in my office, 2 people I trained work for Microsoft. They don't work in admin, they work for the mixed reality team, you know, building the back end. Those people are based in Kaduna. I have people who design stuff for Paxful in the US. I have people who are doing jobs all across the world. But the thing is, if I show you my emails now and tell you, and you see the amount of demand, we don't have the people to match them with. So it's not enough. We need to run away. And you know, again, I stress a lot of these things. We need to run away from the idea that because I went to school and I have a paper that says I can do this, you can actually do it. Increasingly, nobody cares about what you have. It's what can you do, right? If Google or Facebook are hiring today, they don't ask to see your university degree. It doesn't concern them. What can you do? They give you a technical test, right? So we need to evolve our skills to the point where even within the few, yes, there are no opportunities in Nigeria, but again, like I was saying earlier, your competitor is no longer in Nigeria. The opportunities are no longer tied to Nigeria. If today you go to AliExpress, something as simple as sewing this kaftan that I'm wearing, Chinese people are doing it. And they're doing it better than the tailors that don't deliver here. Right? So opportunity might be a problem, but the question is, if you have one opportunity, why aren't you the one that is being given? Get to the point where you are world class. If you're world class, you will not lack for opportunities. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So my question would go back to the discussions we had earlier where participants got to share their challenges when it comes to trying to get a job, especially as graduates. And someone highlighted exaggerative years of experience. Every time a job opportunity is being advertised, you see 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So, and every time conversations like this happen, I feel like it's centered around the people who are looking for these jobs. So my question is, what are companies doing to help graduates get into the market? Because I'm just graduating from school. I don't know where I'm supposed to get experience from to join your company. Are we trying to look into that and improve on our recruitment processes?
I think Mr. Chidi should answer that.
If I understand your question, you're saying that the years of experience that people want, or I mean that companies are requiring, is a barrier for you to get a job. Is that? I just want to be sure that that's the angle to your question.
Yes, especially for graduates, entry level.
Well, I do know a few companies who would hire entry-level graduates. It all depends on if the opportunity is available or if the plans are available for those particular companies to hire new people. Every company in the course of its life cycle would obviously get new, fresh people to join their business. Fine, you might also need experience, like maybe you want a mid-level or a mid-career person to join a particular role. But at every point in a company's life cycle, we would need fresh graduates. I just mentioned now that my company just engage 22 fresh graduates. Fine, the opportunities, the number of people that we can take per time might be little, but at least each company is trying to do what they can to ensure that they're able to absorb as many people as they can. So I wouldn't agree with you. I would disagree with you rather that companies are not trying. They are, but again, the spaces that they have is limited. So they will just do the best they can to get the number of people that they want. I hope I answered your question.
Any more? Okay.
Oh, okay.
We have just 2 more slots, guys. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Kingsley Sule. Yeah, while I graduated from university, that was about 2017, thereabout. I think this question is directed to Mr. Chidi, right, from Nigerian Breweries. Yeah, I was opportune to do my internship at Nigerian Breweries Kakuri branch. And I could remember I put in a lot of hard work and all that. But something happens with this internship. It's supposed to be a continuous process. When you serve a company during your internship stage or whatever, I believe there should be a module or a medium where such people, you don't just impact them and allow them to go. Isn't it? We are talking about how we can enhance the economy itself. And a lot of fresh graduates you see, they are struggling with this problem. You just come, it's just like the company are just there to use you. After they use you, the next set of people are coming in. You are gone. They are looking for the next set of people who will just come in. So it's just like a process. And this thing is doing a lot of harm to we, the graduates. Because the time you graduate now, all those experience and the time you spent in that company, and now it doesn't come into play because you have not been given the opportunity to make use of what you have learned while you were doing your internship.
Okay, if I understand your question, you mean after your internship is over and then you go back to school, you don't actually use that particular knowledge, anything else until you graduate? Is that what you're trying to say? Now, the internship program, or the IT as it is, as most of us are familiar with, it's a short program, but at the same time, is for you to understand how a corporate or a working environment actually functions. So at that level, you would definitely be applying some of the things that you've learned in school. Now, after graduation, it's a different phase altogether. It's just like saying, what example can I use now? Okay, it's just like saying that, oh, okay, because you worked with us while you were in school, that means you have a stepping stone if there's a vacancy. If there's a vacancy in the future for you after graduation. It's not linear like that. It doesn't really follow. I mean, one of our panelists here, even though he was supposed to be, we were poaching him for him to stay, he decided to jackpot to MTN, but it's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that those two phases are quite different. Doing your IT program, yes, you're learning things, and the company is not using you. You're also learning skills as well, because the essence of it is for you to understand or to know the dynamics of a corporate environment. So that is why for like 3 to 6 months, you are in that environment. So you obviously know how a corporate environment works. So when you come out and you begin to look for work, you already have that experience because you did it while you were in school. So those are two different phases. One is to prepare you for when you eventually come out. The second one is for you to to apply as every other person would and go through the recruitment and selection process. Now, the truth is that for us in Nigerian breweries, our recruitment process is strictly based on merit. You don't need to know anybody before you come in. There is no godfather that will tell you, oh, I will help you get this. No, it doesn't work like that. It's based on what you bring to the table. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Sule. Was I able to answer your question? Thank you.
All right, and let me just say this before I ask my question. I'm sorry to say, but Nigeria has really deviated from hiring people by merit to this slogan. They said you have to know somebody before you get a job, or it is by who you know. I don't know how they really put it this way. I graduated 2013. I served in NEMA, Abuja, National Emergency Management Agency, in the Mission Control Center. I was supposed to be employed by merit, but that was the year APC came in and the DG was changed. Of course, he came with his own crowd because it is by who you know, and they told us we should be on contract. We did for like 6 months, but we were asked to leave with no reason, no good reason. So I see that as a very key problem to the youth. If you don't know anybody, you are just there. I've not stopped applying since then. Like I give myself this target to everyday application, but still yet, since I believe I don't know anybody, so I should be there for now till when I know somebody. That is my question. So to my dear I don't know, in native, which hope do we have, even if we followed Jobam until I don't know when, which hope do we have that we are going to be seen one day that our talent will be connected to companies so that we'll be hired?
Thank you for that question. Definitely, on our platform, if you have an account and we see a role, we are providing democratized access. You don't need to know anyone. You don't need to know anyone to get access to our jobs. Jobs that our partner, the 40,000 partner, are listing on our platform. You have the technical skills? Yes. You can apply. You'll be called for an interview if you scale up that selection process, and then it's left for you to actually make it. So we provide democratized access to work. So yes, please register on our website, on our platform, get an account, and definitely, if there are jobs that you are fit, you will be considered. Definitely, definitely. It's a free, democratized access to job on our platform. Thank you.
So with that answer, we have come to the end of our panel session. Can we please give our panelists a round of applause? Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. And just before we leave, we'll have a photo session. Okay. So thank you so much for your time and your audience. I love that people were not moving around. Thank you for paying attention.
Thank you so much, our panelists. Just before we have our photo, our group photo, someone walked in during the panel session and would like to just acknowledge his presence. He is the Honorable Chairman, or Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Business, Innovation and Technology, Honorable Professor Kabir Mato. Thank you so much, sir. With that being said, we would invite our administrator and Professor Mato to the stage to take a group picture with the panelists, and then we'll move on to the next. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, panelists. Thank you, Zainab, and thank you, Professor Kabir. Okay, so CJ, you interview.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. It was an amazing session. Before we move on to the next agenda for the day, the next item we have for the day, we want to give a proper introduction of a special guest who walked in, although we just called his name. But we want to call him a second time. And this time he'll come and say a few words to us. Can we please give a round of applause to the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Business Innovation and Technology, MBIT, in the person of Professor Kabir Mato. Please, a round of applause. Thank
you. The Administrator Kashim Ibrahim Fellows, the fellows, invited guests, speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me begin by, first of all, expressing my profound appreciation to the Administrator and fellows for inviting me to participate here today on this very important occasion of the Community Service Week. I've been asked to briefly speak on the topic business and innovation in Kaduna State. I used to, in my younger days, love to speak in public. But as I grew older, unfortunately, I would say, or fortunately, perhaps because of declining energy, I increasingly find it difficult, and the stage fright that I used to have when I was much, much younger is beginning to resurface. I will do all I can within my resources to try to address these issues very briefly, because one of the things that some of us would have is probably the capacity to continue to talk, sometimes without punctuations, to the extent that you sound the risk of continuously repeating yourself. And that's one problem that I have with my colleagues even in council. Dear fellows, 40 years ago, about 40 years ago when I graduated from the university, it was possible for you to secure employment virtually everywhere in specific areas of your academic competences. Fortunately or unfortunately, with the dynamism and ever-changing scenarios that the human community is facing, that has become a matter of history and therefore has properly placed the school in its right position. The university, the polytechnic, the college of education, or wherever, nursing school, or wherever you went to That has done an incalculable damage to the educational sector by continuously placing emphasis on vision outside of skills. You may be very knowledgeable. I keep saying that's why we have a lot of professors of electrical engineering that will have problems, minor electrical problems in their homes, in their vehicles, and they're unable to do anything. They will have to resort to the roadside in order to pick a technician, a roadside mechanic, a roadside electrician that will call him and solve their problem. It tells you on the nature of education and educational system that we have run as a people. There is a gap between education, knowledge, and skills. And while our educational system continues to place emphasis on certification, the world is moving in a different direction. The world is moving in a direction of skills and capacities. And I think that's one area that we really need to do. And in Ministry of Business, Innovation and Technology, what we have been doing in the last 6 years or so has been to bridge that gap between knowledge and skills, between education and skills. We carry this arrogance on our heads that we have a degree, we have 2 degrees, we have 3 degrees, when our capacity to use what we have learned in school is very, very minimal. So we try a lot to ensure that we bridge this skills gap. We try a lot to ensure that we build the skills. There's nothing wrong with someone who graduated with a degree in political science, in sociology, in religious knowledge, in chemistry, in physics. From coming out to learn the skills of hairdressing, okay, vulcanizing, so many other things. Because if people at that level will be able to take up these skills, it means that these professions that we ordinarily look at as non-threatening professions will be moved to the next higher levels. And it means, therefore, that the society will obviously be the beneficiaries of these innovations. In Ministry of Business Innovation, my dear fellows, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we were actually created in the current formation in 2019. It was formerly called Ministry of Commerce, Industry, and Tourism. But with the coming up of innovation, business, innovation, and technology, the science and technology dimension of Ministry of Education was removed and placed on our ministry. And our major objective, or the objective of government, is the creation of a vibrant ecosystem and digital economy that thrives on innovation. Why are we talking about innovation? Innovation is what has made the world tick. Okay, when you are knowledgeable, when you are educated, when you have the skills, what you intend to do is to improve on the way things are done. Okay, in 1991, when I started working in Abuja, we relocated from Lagos to Abuja, I was excited because it was easier for me to drive from Abuja to Kaduna. But the process of getting from Abuja to Kaduna was more difficult and tedious than it is today. Aside the poor state of our road infrastructure, aside the tremendous insecurity challenges that we are facing as a nation, the distance and the coverage. Now, I tell this story and people try to look at me and laugh over it because we do not many times like reflecting on where we are coming from. Kaduna, as it is currently, was comprised of small villages. Kao was a village standing on its own in the 1914, 1915, 1916. Barnawa was a distinct village. If you were living Kao, you had relations in Barnawa, you are going to Barnawa, the whole of your family will come and they will do send off for you, they will cry, you know. Yes, they will cry, they will wish you well, Some of them will be asking for forgiveness. If I have wronged you in any way, please forgive me. And you also be asking if I have wronged, because you are embarking on a very long journey. Where is Kao?